This is the Poddy with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
It's the Trim Healthy Podcast, Poddy people. Get in here. Today's subject, adult circumcision and you. Am I right?
You're wrong.
No, we've been talking about circumcision.
That was pre-potty fodder, as we call it, and you probably don't want to hear a lot of our pre-potty fodder. Actually, we have a good topic today, Daneth, and it is...
Hey, the Lord loves to talk about circumcision.
I know he does, but it doesn't mean
what do you
we
mean the
for
Lord?
And against. He's for and against.
He is.
We're talking about the Lord loves to talk about circumcision.
Well, she was acting like it was like a hokey-toiky subject. And I'm like, if it's good enough for the Bible, it's good enough for the Poddy.
Whatever Serene feels passionate about, the Lord loves it.
I'm not passionate about circumcision, though, at all.
Hey, we're going to talk today about, it's a really good subject. I want to return to it, but I'm going to read something first. Just to wet your whistle about what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about, hey, if you're a real active person,
They
say
do wet
you...
the whistle over here.
Is that an American term, wet your whistle?
Yeah, we know it.
Yeah,
Okay,
get
good.
prepped. Say you're in the garden lot. Say you're outdoors chopping wood. Say you're on a farm and you're mucking stalls and baling hay. Do you need to strength train as well? That's the question that we're going to bring up. It's a good question. But I wanted to bring you all something. A nice little note came into our...
Oh, we got a nice one?
We got a nice
Tell
one.
me, we got a nice one.
Probably you too.
Dear Serene, Pearl, and Danny,
Oh.
I've been listening to your podcast since the beginning. I have been, what if you coulding, Danny?
Okay.
I'm that girling and putting off and putting on right alongside of you.
Oh, that's awesome.
You bring wisdom and laughter every week. Thank you. Over the past 2 years, I've been on a journey trying to regain strength after acquiring some chronic health conditions in my mid-30s. I started walking every day, then some light body weights and dumbbell exercises. Finally, I started to go to the tiny local fitness center
How old is she?
twice a
She's
week.
mid-30s?
I don't know how old she is now yet. That was a while ago.
Okay.
Working out. So she, hold on, you put me off. Here. She said,
sorry.
I met an elderly gentleman named Vern working out. I do the full weight machine circuit. You guys are my podcast gym buddies. I was getting very frustrated because I was faithful with the training but was never able to raise the level on my weights, especially my upper body where I need it the most. I wasn't losing any more muscle, but I felt like
Anymore, she said, because she was.
Yeah, before that she was losing lean body mass. Then she started weight training. Actually, this goes right along with some of the studies we're going to bring in our new book. But I felt like I was in limbo. So since you have been educating us on protein this past year, I was excited to try Essential and the OPP. OPP stands for Optimized Plant Protein.
Not other people's property?
No.
Hey, that reminds me of a funny story, but the listeners will hate me, so I'm not going to
keep
digress.
on with this beautiful note. I use the plant protein in my breakfast and Essential in my water bottle when I work out. I try really hard to get those nerdy 25 grams of whole food protein in my lunch and dinner. I am really happy to tell you that after a month of living at protein nerd level 3,
You go, girl.
I was able to increase all my weights by 5 pounds.
That's huge, actually.
And after 2 months, I am now able to chest press 15 pounds heavier than I was able to all last year. I'm turning 40 next month. There you go, Serene. And instead of feeling frustrated, I am excited to see where this year takes me, and I'm contending for muscle. Thank you so much for your help. Please never stop learning and sharing. All my thanks, Jen.
That makes it all worthwhile, Jen. I loved that. You know?
I knew you would love it.
Did I
Serene.
catch it right that she got it right when she got her protein right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes, and it's right along with some studies when our Trim Healthy Wisdom book comes out. There's quite a multitude of studies, and it depends if you're genetically blessed and you're in your 40s or 30s, this won't apply to you. It will apply to you even if you're genetically blessed as you get into your 50s and 60s. But they took, there were 2 different studies we cite in the book of aging seniors who were doing strength training. The first study, they were doing strength training. One group, they divided them into 2 groups, they all did the same strength training routine. One group did not focus on protein. They just ate whatever and did not supplement their workouts. The other group supplemented their workouts with sufficient protein. So both groups got stronger, okay? But there was a big fat 0 of lean body mass added to the people who did not supplement with protein. I'm talking 0, and this was 6 months. And the people that did, they got significant lean body mass plus reduction of fat.
because when you raise the muscle mass,
Yeah.
your body burns
And the
fat.
same thing with the other study. They took this a group of people that were training for some sort of athletic event. And so they thought, we're going to use these people. So they divided them in two groups once again, a protein-focused one and the other group, both working very hard. Again, they saw no improvement in lean muscle mass with the ones that didn't supplement with protein.
It's
the
so
ones
true.
that did saw it.
It's like the old adage, right? That you hear in the lifting community, success is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Muscles are built in the kitchen, not just in the workout room.
Now, if you're in your 20s, because muscle decline doesn't start till 30s, you're going to build muscle if you work out. That's just, you're in that anabolic window.
Well, you can bread is anabolic when you're young.
Yeah. So, but it changes after 30. And especially then when we women start to get into perimenopause. She said she's 40. That's the age.
Well,
you know?
and it really, and that's why we're starting to optimize all of our proteins, because in your youth, you actually build muscle through the insulin pathway, but when you get older, it's the lutein pathway that works. And that's why we put that 3-gram bolus of lutein in all of our optimized proteins. And I've just been, reading a little bit more, because we, along with our food scientists, we're really just excited to bring these optimized plant proteins. But it was our food scientist who talked to us about adding the glycine. And the reason why he did were for many reasons, but the reason why we were so excited was because it was an incredible delivery system, because we have glycine receptors all along our esophageal lining. And when, they meet the receptors, the glycine, it just helps transport that immediately into the cells.
It through the lymphatic system, right?
Yeah, incredible absorption, and we love that. And also glycine has many, many benefits with blood sugar control, incredible mood enhancement, mental clarity. I was reading the other day, I was thinking, let me just look up a little bit more about glycine, because it is a big part of our optimized proteins.
Yeah, and our essential.
Glycine is incredible for muscle stimulus, for synthesis. It's amazing. It actually does build muscle. And they say that it really makes human growth hormones surge. That you can take a bolus of glycine, which all of our optimized plant proteins and essential, all of our optimized proteins have a good bolus of glycine. A bolus of glycine above 2 grams will actually help surge human growth hormone, which you need, for building muscle, lean muscle mass.
And this brings me to another question. This wasn't going to come into our kind of potty today, but I'll put it in here. There was a question on the group the other day, and it said, I'm starting, Serene and Pearl's Essential. I want to know, what do you guys feel from it? Do you feel anything from it? And there was a large variety of answers. Some people said, I feel it. I have more energy to get through the day. Others were like, I feel it, and I take it at night because I feel a little sleepy. We all respond different to glycine, right? I feel none of the sedative effects.
You're talking about the essential aminos.
Yeah, essential aminos. Some people said, I feel nothing. I'm taking it because Serene and Pearl said to. And others were like, well, I've been taking it for 3 months now. And yes, and they talked about their strength gains, their loss of fat, things like that. But here's what I want to say. I feel pretty much nothing when I take Essential. I feel pretty much.
That's probably because your protein's on point
already.
Yeah,
maybe, but I feel nothing when I take vitamin D. I take many things. Vitamin C, I take large doses. I feel kind of nothing from these things, but I know my body needs them. I'm in that window of postmenopause where muscle decline is happening, baby, if I don't do something about it. So we don't necessarily take these, optimized forms of supplemental protein like Essential or optimized plant protein to feel anything from them.
Well, just think, even when you eat a big steak, do you necessarily feel all kinds of gushes through your body and fireworks go off and all kinds of stuff?
I do.
Satiates you.
I do because I go, unfortunately, I don't mean to, but I go through big spells of no protein, and I'm just starting to kind of get aware of that. I think a lot of people do that as well.
Now, what do you think of as a big spell? Like, you go through a whole day without protein?
I would say that I could go multiple days. There's probably protein hidden in different things I'll eat, because I have.
You just might go bread, butter,
You mean
bread,
you're
butter, bread,
sitting
butter?
here on your little special chair in the Poddy cabin, and we've been talking about protein for about a year now.
We put a mic in front of your face.
And you still aren't nerding up about protein. I thought you were nerding up about protein.
But let me think, what do these spells look like?
Well,
What are
can
you
I ask
eating?
him if he's nerding yet, or was this in
Oh,
the
yeah,
past?
obviously he's not nerding.
Well, give him a chance. Are you nerding yet, Dennis?
I'm close.
Okay.
Listen.
It does take him a while for everything.
Yeah.
It takes me a while for everything, and it frustrates people. Obviously, it frustrates people in different areas. Like I take a minute, even like when I'm working on projects, with work, like for clients or for whatever. Like I hear a lot as the phrase "as discussed." You ever heard that phrase?
Yeah,
you ever gotten that in an email?
It's
Yeah, we're gonna
reminding
do
me.
this as discussed.
You don't remember what was discussed.
I don't. And I will call you immediately if you put that in an email.
Yeah.
And I'll say, don't you ever say as discussed to me again. I have a medical condition called ADHD and I have forgotten what we discussed. Okay?
It's true.
And you know what? If we're in a meeting and I've got an ability to take notes, I'll take notes and then I won't forget what we discussed. But if you're just by the way.
Does your wife have to say as discussed a lot?
No, she doesn't do it.
She knows
because
not
she
to.
accepts me and receives me.
Yeah.
That's her king and
I
lord.
accept you, Danny. I was just wondering why you didn't nerd it up yet, but you're on your way.
There was this old book in the Kroger. It was a romance novel. I walked past it, and I don't know why. It was like the Lord wanted me to see it. It said the cover, was the typical, was this just overly Fabio'd man. And this woman is desperately just
Heaving.
can't even stand. And he's just holding her up, and but he's not concerned with her. Okay, so
He's concerned with his own bicep. He's looking at his biceps.
yeah, he's holding her up and he's just looking into the camera, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a there's just this grade. There's this.
This is why everybody loves us, by the way. Don't they love this rabbit trail right now?
I'm sure.
We're
I'm
gonna
going to
get
tell
full
you how
circle.
many percentage of people love
I
it.
know, that's why I'm
62.
being
There's
sarcastic.
48% people not. Okay.
Well, we're
thought
gonna
it was the other
we're gonna
way.
go full
38,
circle. We're gonna
38.
hit as
Okay.
discussed, and we're gonna come
Okay.
all the way back to protein. But the title
Yeah.
of this romance novel was, and you're gonna love it, "To Wed a Wild Lord."
Ooh.
Did you picture yourself as the wild lord?
I took a picture of it, and Facebook reminded me of it the other day. Like, remember the time? And I'm like, yeah, I remember that time.
And this relates how now?
I think it has to
tell
do with protein somehow.
Oh, Fabio's muscles?
Maybe so.
Perchance?
But as discussed, it's something that that I've learned to live with hearing.
But
Here's the thing.
book cover,
Here's the
I
thing.
love the story, but the book cover must have related in some way.
I think it's
Well,
unfair.
that guy was nerding it up with protein.
He was also genetically blessed because did you look at his wrists, Danny?
thick wrist, man.
Thick.
Here's the thing. In today's busy world, it's unfair unless you were in a professional meeting where notes were being taken to say to somebody as discussed as you had a conversation.
And
I just want to
that's
let that out.
All right.
Okay,
Now back to your holes of protein.
Back to protein. I would say that it takes me a while, years even, to adapt a thing. And I
But don't
wonder,
feel okay being like Danny, guys, listening in.
but
Because-
I wonder what percentage of people actually does. Like, they are passionate listeners. They believe everything. And like years later, they're still not.
That's okay, but I don't want them to follow your example.
No, don't
like,
follow
that's
me.
cool because Danny's cool, so I'm going to take years. I'm going to make it take years.
Well,
Wow.
these are many of our listeners, not all. We've got our premenopausal woman. We don't forget, because my daughter is one of them. She never allows me to forget
Yeah.
that there's woman under 30 listening.
All right, but here's what I got to tell you
But
about
the
protein.
Perrys and the Posties, they're desperate, Danny.
Yeah.
You might not be desperate.
Hey,
you
you
got
got to
good
start
T
when
levels.
you're pre.
I do.
You got to start when you're pre because then it's not like some big hike uphill. You've
I
already
know.
got it. Then all you have to do is keep it.
Well, here's the thing. If you're
You know?
going, if you're solid with your protein, you may not notice the essential aminos hitting your system, but I notice it hitting my system. So I had, by the way, speaking of taking a long time, I've got 3 bags sitting that finally got opened weeks later of the essential aminos that I desperately wanted so long.
Yeah,
And then
I
I just
know.
sat them. Finally added them to just oatmeal.
Right.
Okay.
Do you do it in the nested way we taught?
No. Essential.
Oh, sorry.
You do essential.
Hold on. I was thinking OPP.
You do the
just-
the white stuff in your oatmeal?
Yeah.
Tell me how it tastes. I've never tried it. Is it revolting?
It's
No,
citrus.
because it was also was stevia in there. There was probably some other stuff.
It's going to be like orange oatmeal. That's okay.
Was it-
Nah,
Citrus
no,
oatmeal.
because look, 1 scant tablespoon is 90 grams of protein. I don't need
Yeah.
90 grams of
It's
protein day one.
bioequivalent.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
threw
don't
like
tell me you halved it. You
No, I
need
quartered
the
it.
90.
No, Dan.
No.
Okay, let's
Listen,
talk.
hold on,
So
let me say-
let's talk.
let
Did
me-
you go to
let me-
the product page and read about the bioequivalency?
okay, no, but here's the thing. I come from a world
Yeah.
I come from a non-expert world where after a workout, a trash protein supplement off the shelf made for men is 20 whole grams of protein for your post-workout.
Yeah, but listen, you can't go rogue on us. Just follow the directions.
No. I'm saying though, to at least like I already beat that. Like I'm already doing better just with a quarter tablespoon.
Yes, but I'm going to tell you something, and this is if you read the product pages, it's the FAQ. What does this whole 90 bioequivalent grams mean? It says there, and notes, Danny, notes, phone. It means complete. It means you can call it 90 because that's the equivalence of what it does in your body. But complete means 25 to 30 grams covered. Now, if you're only using a quarter of that, sure, you're going to get bioequivalency 20, 25 grams. But you see, you should do the whole thing because it's not too high. Doing the whole thing, you can't hurt anything.
Yeah.
You're not going too high if you do 90 grams of meat, you are.
It would really help
It
your
taxes
ADHD,
your kidneys.
whatever that thing
Oh,
is.
that's what people say. The ones, many people said
It
mental
does.
health, those that have mental health, maybe ADHD or depression, anxiety, I don't have those. But they were some of the ones that said,
Well,
no, it helps me.
that's
because
what I
it
wanted to
goes
tell you
the
about.
brain.
And also because glycine there's a good hit of glycine in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so that's what I want to tell you about is how I noticed it hitting my system because I will go days where protein's
Still don't
probably not
understand
great.
that
Let
days.
them talk. I want you to have a lesson in letting someone finish their
I
sentence.
agree, but that's the one question. You get your questions answered. I'm just standing in line.
Okay, just let them answer.
Big sister bossing me around.
It's like a Jerry Springer episode,
Yes.
but like a very gentle.
But we need to know how he gets these days and holes and stuff.
That's what I'm asking. Same question.
Well, are you kind of butting?
well,
No.
I think that
Listen, listeners.
Okay, listeners.
Who's been talking the most during this podcast so far?
Listeners,
sister.
please, I have
Raise
been
your hand.
talking,
She's
but
such a
please,
boss head today.
I do talk, but please write in and let us know, and I will share this with Serene.
she's trying to
Listen,
recruit.
yeah, I
Who
know.
She's
butts
recruiting.
in more?
Yeah, listen, I butt in more because I'm trying to get a little word in it. Unless I bring my teleprompter,
And
which
then
is
I
a
never
big
butt
old
in.
fat message to sister. Keep your gab shut for
Yeah.
a little bit, right? Stop trying
Yeah.
to lead, okay? Other than that, I'm just trying to say, eek, 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 eek,
No, but you were
Yeah.
eking to him, who was trying to tell us for the last 10 minutes about his holes
because
of
you
protein.
kept on asking him more questions of your own self.
Did I, though?
What happens if Serene and I go start our own podcast? What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I would like
By the
to
way,
see-
what's in your drink? It's delicious.
I know. I will tell you later.
All
Because
right,
I would love to
back
hear
to the
this and
thing.
then back to this question.
So
I'm sorry, Serene.
The
I'm
several
sorry, too.
unexpected things happened. I think people like me are needed in one at least way for the world is that we're super sensitive to things and we can feel things happening to our body and then articulate what's going on for for people who might be more stable who you know a glass of wine's not going to hit them like it hits me, you know. Everything hits me and I so
These things are true.
it was really interesting to notice first of all the growly stomach went away. I wasn't hungry even 2-3
So-
hours later.
I'm just butting in to say this. Everybody listen up because Danny's going to tell us what we are really feeling.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because
You
he's
just
the
don't know it.
litmus test. We don't know it, but
Thank
he's
you.
going to tell us.
You're getting it.
I had to say that.
That's
bro.
right. That's what I'm saying. For the people who are saying, I don't notice anything, I'm telling you what's happening to
Okay.
you,
Yes.
whether you notice it or not. So what I experienced was total satiation. Is that the right word? Like I was full and didn't think about food. Usually I'll eat food if it's not right, if the protein's not right. And I could be hungry maybe 20 minutes later. And it's weird. I don't think it's true hunger. I think it's sort of a spiky, crashy type of situation. So it fixed that. And then also the anxiety level really was noticeably dropped. And I felt really stable. And I felt very masculine. I felt in conversation.
Were your wrists feeling a little bigger?
Look at these wrists.
Thick.
I turn them this way.
Thick.
If you hold them at an angle to the camera, they look the most thick. This, thicker. This, way too thin. Okay?
It's truth.
Thicker. And then at a
Yes.
45, the thickest they'll look.
You know, I'm a thin wrist girl too, and when I look back on this Poddy on the YouTube, I hate looking at my bony wrists. Like I've got the Danny thing, like it's some sort of wristorexia.
Wristorexia.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There's a
so
lot of benefits to protein, whether you notice
Yeah.
it or not. End point.
And it's good, Dan.
That's very good.
So this was a question that came on the Facebook. I'm not going to say her name because I didn't.
Oh, you starting to the new question?
Yeah.
Can
Is
I
that
just?
okay?
Can I just?
Yep.
Can I have a little bit of a little sister?
Yeah,
little,
please.
Yeah, a little bit of a rounding off there at the end. The other thing, it's not just about protein, and I'm not talking about stupid, crashing your blood sugar carbs, the junk stuff. I'm talking about the real slow burning carbs.
Potatoes.
Success in the gym also comes from adequate supply of those gentle burning carbs, because so many women these days are actually in what they call the it's the RED, or it's LEA, low energy availability, but there's another name, REDS, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's another name too. But even Olympic athletes, even in the trained athletes, they believe in carbohydrates, they are often an LEA. It's important to know that when you're in the gym, you got to fuel it with the carbohydrates, not the spiky stuff, but you're going to be more in the E mode, or, if you're goal weight, the crossover mode. But slow burning carbs are going to be the other very important part, just as much as protein.
Yes, if you're going to have your next meal after a workout, make it an E or a crossover, which Serena and I
and
have
also
come
the
to.
one before.
Yes. That's why we kind of like having, I love having my fats meal in the evening.
And
now.
I just have it all. I just have them all
We're
kind
not
of
saying
balanced.
this is the way you must
I've
roll.
crossovers.
We're just saying this is what we've learned over time, and as we're strength training and contending for our muscle.
Because if you're going to get in the gym and you're just on SSSS, you're going to have poor results because you can't put in the
And
intensity.
Danny, 6.5 to 7 years later, what is an S meal? Because you did say that it takes you years, but you finally do catch on.
It stands for satisfying.
Yes.
All right.
But you are going to just elaborate on that. And I gave a clue.
Fat with the fats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Satisfying. And the reason it's satisfying is because the fat is present.
Yeah, very good. Good job.
And the brain is made of fat.
Yeah.
So I think there's an extra satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Yeah, I like it.
By the way, I know we're going to move on, but I need to know, is that just coffee?
No, I'm going to tell you about it later. It's a new thing I tried because
I've hated coffee for a long time.
Yeah.
I just went rogue. My body's like, you're going to hate it now. I don't know why. I loved it.
Really?
It was like my favorite thing. And then I was like, I hate it. And then I tasted Pearls.
Have you tried the mushroom coffee?
It's amazing. Yeah, but whatever's in there is what I want to know.
mushroom coffee. I keep trying them. Okay, hey, this I was going to say I'm not bringing her name because I didn't ask her if I could use this question. But I did answer on this post, and I gave an answer that was kind of different to everybody else's answer. This is the question, and she was very
Other
gracious.
people answered it.
Yeah, she got like hundreds of answers. It was it stayed at the top of the page, and everyone
Did
was
you like
kind of,
most of those answers?
I thought they were valid, but I had something else to bring, and I don't think they were big picture because we are nerds who spend our life in depth researching loss of lean body mass. So I felt like I had a little bit more
to
to
me
say.
when I'm allowed to talk.
Yes. Actually, I'm going to ask you to answer it.
Yeah.
And then I'll join in after I've let you speak. So I've been wondering, this is the question, if anyone has asked or talked about just plain old hard work instead of exercising. We heat with wood, and while I don't use a chainsaw, once it's on the ground, chopped, I load it, unload it, stack it, and haul it into the house. From spring to fall, I garden and take care of a large yard. I only use hand tools. So there's a lot of hoeing, digging going on. Plus, only push mower and I weed a lot. I also walk often. How to gauge if I'm losing muscle mass? I'm 65.
Wow. Amazing.
yeah.
Sounds like an incredible lifestyle. Proud of her. Like, that's awesome. Like, I really...
Can I tell you what a lot of people said the majority of answers were?
Yes.
The majority of answers were you do not need to add anything.
I knew that they'd say that.
That's fantastic.
I knew
And
they would too.
We'd say that's fantastic too because it's brilliant, but...
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. It depends on what she wants. Okay. So I believe that she was probably, I can't see her, there's no picture, but a very fit specimen. And that she lives a very, what I would call a longevity lifestyle. So this is going to be helping with her metabolic markers here. You know, she's out there. She's going to be burning fuel to a certain extent. But I've seen a lot of cowboys, fencing cowboys, right? And, you know, they work hard all day. But they got a little bum in that Wrangler jeans. You know what I mean? They ain't no Fabio, but they're strong.
Yeah.
Okay? So it depends on what she wants. Does she want to build any shape anywhere in areas that are going to be more than just a wonderful metabolic lifestyle, but in a way that burns through fuel like microwaves.
This hauling, chopping, mowing, all of this, I can't see you, but I imagine you have a very strong upper muscular body, and you've probably got strong legs too. Well, I think and I'll add to what Serene was saying, what we need as we get older is a very popping muscular bum. Why? That's how we really burn a lot of fuel. It looks great too, but we lose our bummies. More than any other way, we lose our glute
And have you had
tissue.
children?
It's upsetting
Because
to
if you've
see.
had children, oftentimes a very important fat that lies in your bum is the fat that your baby needs.
That
So we
butt
lose
fat.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we lose that. And then of course some women get bigger bums in their pregnancy, but it's not necessarily
It's more fatty. It's a different kind of
It's a
fat. too.
different kind of fat.
I was blessed with a genetically good bum, right? I had a very good
If you don't say
little
so
poppy.
yourself.
No, I'm going to say what happened to it. I'm not saying I kept it.
No, I'm not coming against you.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about myself.
Yeah, no, I had a good bum. My pregnancies happened.
Yeah.
I had 5 of them, and I kept wondering why my bum was flattening.
Yeah.
And then Serene talked about these omega-3s stored in the bum, and my babies took them, especially because some of my pregnancies were vegan. Ooh.
Yeah.
But then and I always did strength training with my body, and I kept fit and did.
Yeah, you did cha-cha-cha,
things,
little
cha-cha-cha, and
DVDs.
I even did
Cha-cha-cha.
workouts which toned me, Serene, and I was strong in the glute area, but I hadn't built it. Then I reached late perimenopause and menopause, and my bum started flattening further. Pearl, the good bummer, was the Pearl, the no bummer.
And then I adopted African children, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
and do you know
yeah.
what they call us on a hole over here? Flat bums. That's the name
Really?
for white people at their
Flat
orphanage.
bums.
Flat bums.
That's earned. I
Yeah.
mean, some of these white
long
gals.
nose flat bums is what they call us because we don't have the wider nose. So long nose flat bums.
So what I did
That's so
is
interesting.
I targeted my glutes and I
course it is.
strength trained and I got nerdy about protein. I built my jolly bum back, as did you, Serene,
Yeah.
because you started with a good bum. Like we had genetically good bums. You lost it through veganism
Lost it,
and
man.
lack of calories.
Flat
Why
as
are
a
all the
white
men
piece
doing
of paper.
push-ups in the room? Why are they all tearing their shirt? Guys,
Here's what I want to say.
No, but the other thing is immune system too.
Yeah.
Immune system, brain. We've talked about that on the podcast. Are you going to bring it or should I shut
No,
up?
you.
No, but like
The butt brain?
the butt, the behind the
butt
gluteal
brain.
muscles are the largest muscle stores on the body. So that is a huge bank system. Are you going to just have it left empty and flat?
now fill that bank.
Fill that
So
thing.
here's what I would do, and I'd see even our parents and our mum listens to this Poddy, so as our dad, but they won't mind us saying they are physically active people.
Oh, yeah.
We keep saying you got to strength train, guys. They're in their 80s, and they're like, yes, we do, but they never do, right?
The guys are all
But
glowing.
my mum can outwalk us. My dad is
yes.
fit. He's constantly going. He's in the garden. He's hoeing. They've both lost their glute muscle.
Oh, yeah.
It
You're
doesn't
talking about your
stop.
mom and dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's what I would say to you, poster. I would say you have such an active lifestyle. I wouldn't necessarily think you have to strength train 3 different times a week in all the body muscle
No.
groups.
I
would
would.
just say, but if she doesn't want to, I'll just say go for your glutes and lower chain muscles at the back. Do
Okay.
1 or 2 days. Keep it short. But build that glute muscle and don't worry about your upper body. You're getting a lot of work
That's great
there.
That's what
advice.
I would do.
Hey, I could speak to the younger males, which a lot of our listeners have husbands who are right out of the trade industry,
Yeah, yeah.
especially because I came from the trade
They had
industry.
small little bums.
God keep me off that ladder. So I was I spent a couple years in the trade industry pretending that it was enough.
Oh,
And so did all of my friends. We all said like, oh no, we don't work out because we're up and down ladders. We're lifting tool bags. We're pushing lumber up to guys on roofs. And while all that was great, it didn't prevent us from getting injuries as we were getting
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
None of us looked muscular. None of us, had a kind of that classic male physique. I'm not talking about bodybuilder. I'm talking about just man showing what you would expect.
Have you seen those carpenters on those ladders with the little pots too?
100%.
Because they don't have the muscles that are burning through that.
But
No.
you said something right there, and the poster. I don't know her name. You poster you. You're a lot further than a lot of people who don't do all that physical activity with keeping your resilience around. Keeping basic lean muscle around, you're not going to be as likely to fall and to get frail. I mean, I would add hormones in, you're 65. But because you're keeping a basic layer of lean body mass on your body, you are keeping your bone minerals around. However, like Serene said, now the bone minerals, where do they go? At the hip. Hip breaks. So we want our glute muscle to get built so we can save our hips.
And also the glute muscle also is one of the major ways that we can protect from a pelvic floor prolapse. Because when your gluteal muscles are strong, they pull back on that hammock and make it a taut trampoline.
Look, you guys, you got to see. Okay, JD, he's just got this. He's written a sign. Bring it over here, JD.
What?
He wrote a sign, and it's just sitting there in the background of the Poddy.
I like how he wrote it and just walked away.
Men love a woman.
Okay, bring it here.
Toss it in.
Toss it. Okay. Men love a woman with a good bum.
That's what he
no
has to say
question.
to the poster. Is that what he said?
You know what's so interesting though about the old
My
bum?
husband would concur, though.
No, there's like, what is there, like 10 points of like cohesion where like not only are men into it, it happens to like build your brain. It happens to like reinforce the part of you that is most prone to injury as an old person. Like there's all of these like biological, almost built-in designed things
To contend for
that
it.
keep pushing it. And there's so many, like, when you think about just the natural way of things, you know, it supports, all the natural ways support each other so powerfully.
So true.
But, you know, when we were in our 20s, we were convinced we did enough on the construction side. But as we got into our 30s and we started getting injured and overweight, and we were just like, we're clearly not, it's not enough, because you get into lazy habits, even doing those like garden activities or those construction activities. We learned how to make braces and use our backs to like just get the lumber up there. We weren't actually doing shoulder presses.
Right.
You know what I mean? We weren't actually
something different.
activating our glutes and legs.
Yeah, I see that.
You get lazy and you don't even know you're doing it, and then you tell yourself at the end of the day, because you're
Right.
exhausted,
Yeah.
that boy did I work out today.
But you're going to be leaner on the whole, because when she says she chops wood, loads it, unload, that's burning calories. She is
Yes.
gardening. Her overall calorie burn is going to be quite significantly higher than someone who doesn't.
Yeah.
And I do
Yeah.
want to say though, her lifestyle is the lifestyle of old, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
great, but that's not. These days we might think that's exercise because she's not sitting on her bum pressing play on the washing machine, pressing play on the dishwasher.
yeah.
But that's just real life. That's just called real life, the way we're meant to act. But then the Bible
Yeah.
says above that, it's like physical training profiteth a little. That's above. So it might profit her a little,
But
to
those
go
of
and
us-
like to work out her glutes, because physical training was seen as a different thing above regular life. They didn't call it physical training.
No.
Just going down to
Yeah.
the river with a big, huge thing of
Right,
like dirty
right.
clothes on your head,
Good
and
point.
then a big kind of stick with a big bucket on either side for water. They have to haul up and down hills to their little hut.
Well, and walking everywhere. Like
everywhere
it wasn't,
walking.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, and again, walking to and from the garden, that's great. You might be doing it for hours at a time. I don't know. But at the same time, like, because of our modern life, when we do a little bit more than our neighbor, it can tend to feel like we're like Captain Cardio. But in reality, it still isn't even at bar of how life was lived 100 years ago when you
It's
walked
true,
everywhere.
but like she does a lot more physical labor than I do. Therefore,
Yeah.
I do strength train 3 times a week, and I do 2 days a week, some form of cardio, whether it's just pleasant walking or rebounding. That's what I do, and that keeps me fit, and it's built my muscle back. So, I mean, I think, isn't that a great question, though?
It's just very interesting what makes you strong and healthy, and then what builds muscle, which is a different level of health and
But
intention.
people, it's not upper body that burns your fuel as much.
No.
I mean, it does to a certain extent. It is your lower body, big muscles. All the women, they're like, oh, I really need to work on my upper body. I want guns, That's good. Okay. Guns aren't going to build nothing compared to a
don't
glute.
care about my upper body.
Compared to a glute. Oh, my goodness.
I concentrate on lower body, and I just throw a few in arms in.
Your
every time.
arms, I've seen your workouts, Serene. On our Tribe Healthy, Serene's workout, Strong 45, she says she doesn't barely work arms. She
yeah, if you can curl
works
25,
arms.
that's beast.
I can't do what your arm
That's
workout
beast
is.
mode.
But I don't focus on them.
No.
Just throw them in just to rest the
But
glutes.
they're major. They're plenteous.
Somebody called me weak on YouTube.
I never called you
What?
weak.
Not you.
Oh,
it
you
was
read
a,
the comments. Was it a
no, I
nasty
never do, but I did this time.
And it was a
they were like,
nasty
"This."
person?
No, it was this dude. He was like, "That guy's pretty weak. 25's not a big deal."
Oh my goodness.
Oh, because you were going on about Serene curling 25s.
Yeah. He's like, that guy must be. He must be a weak man.
Oh, well, he might curl 40s.
Did you go to bed worried that night?
No, I mean, if
Were
he
you-
wants to meet me down at the boxing gym where I train, I mean, we can see if I'm weak. Whatever.
Hey, actually, it's the guys with the wrists like you, Dan, that actually can usually do more pull-ups and more
What, I'm not
push-ups. And
upset.
body weight, though. Body weight, they're, those are the ones that do those little ninja obstacle courses, and they
That's
win.
true, the
You could
ninja-
beat them, say, meet
You
me down at
could
the
build
ninja obstacle
yourself up
course.
to be
Mate.
a ninja warrior.
Hey, those dudes are like Popeye forearms, right? Man, that's
The
scary
smallest
stuff.
guy in our family, he's the one that can do the most pull-ups the most. He shows off because he can do it
Yeah.
all.
You know, I can hang from my toes.
Can you really?
Yeah.
See?
Like from a bar at the playground.
Yeah. Try hang from your toes, guy.
I
who
mean,
can
you say
curl
you're
more
not
than
upset,
25.
but that did bother you because first of all, because 2 reasons. You remembered it and you want to meet him at the boxing ring.
No big deal.
So these people comment, they don't realize it hurts the show host.
I was even hurt the other day, guys. I actually don't get hurt, and I actually usually get a little bit like, right? But the other day, Nate, he sent us over this thing. It was good of
Oh,
you,
I
Nate.
saw that.
It was
I'm
good
like,
of you, Nate.
Nate.
And it was like, oh, girls, they're loving your interviews with the experts. They're loving it. And then let
And
me
he
just send
said,
you
"Look
over
at
some
this."
encouragement. And it was like, oh, anyone who's just so sick of Serena, Pearl, and Danny just interrupting themselves and just going on about nothing, you really need to come over here and listen to the expert interviews because they're so much better there.
Yeah. Someone said, no, someone told this person to listen to it. And she's like, I just can't with Pearl, Serene, and Danny. They're rabbit trails. I can't deal. And
Why do
she's
people
like,
listen to our show and
I
then
don't
hate
know.
it?
But she was like, oh, I find that way too. But she's like, but the interviews with the experts, they're so different. They're so professional. And I thought, ouch.
I
but
used
yes,
to.
but that's nice, but still ouch. But I don't know how to respond
I
to
used
that.
to kind of get this little rebellious, like, well, I'm just going to rabbit trail more, aren't I? But that day, actually, it was like, well, maybe I'll just quit.
Quit the potty.
I quit the
quit.
potty.
Quit
There you
the
go. Maybe
potty.
I'll just quit and just go where else I can interrupt and just be loved for it. Yeah.
By the way, I can curl 25 pounds.
You can. You went home and checked.
That's what I
See,
curl.
like she said, you're a guy. That was the end of that. Do we have any final remarks?
Yeah, if you notice that I've quit the potty, you'll know why.
Yeah.
Because of one bad comment among many bad comments.
What do you, for women is I just started doing this, and Arden will love this. Shoulder
Hey, for
press.
people that are not looking, okay, he's
What-
got his.
Yeah, the
arms out,
shoulder
he's
press.
doing the shoulder press.
What do you think about that for women? The shoulder press.
Of course, we do
straight up?
shoulder
shoulder
press in
press.
our Tribe Healthy workouts.
Yeah.
Okay, but not as critical. You're still focused lower half.
Oh, well, we still do upper. I mean, I do 1 day per week of lower, but I also put in push-ups a couple of days throughout the week just to keep that going.
You do one lower? I thought you said one upper.
No, I do 1 upper,
Yeah.
and then 2 lower. They're my strength training. But 2 other times or 3 other times during the week, I just get down and do a set of push-ups.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's all you need.
Oh, like 1 time a week for push-ups?
No,
Did we say
2 or 3.
2 or 3? Oh,
But
As
they what? They
discussed,
take,
Eddie,
they
as
take
discussed.
30 seconds, Danny.
As
I mean, what's big about it? I do them before my shower. It ain't nothing, right?
yeah. No, that's
That's a way to keep that lower body strength, upper body strength going when you only do it once a week. Because I want to focus on my lowers.
yeah. Okay. Most men are focused on upper.
I know.
Yeah,
I
and it's
know.
the don't skip leg day thing.
Don't skip leg
That's
day.
that's
It
real.
looks bad.
I've got stairs in my house. It's funny how the brain will always cop out. Like I have stairs in my house now, which is new. And I told myself for months when I moved there, like, you're doing enough lower body. You don't even need to do any weights because you got stairs. And I just lied to myself for months.
Yeah, that's funny.
We all do it. We lie to ourselves.
Well, I will give you scientific proof that stairs do not
Really?
do anything.
Yeah, I've got 3 sets of stairs in my house, like
too.
3 levels.
yeah.
But here's the
not until I
science-
started lifting weights did anything
Here's my
showed back there.
scientific
Yep.
proof. My husband, who I have not yet been able to get to start strength training, because he's a very stubborn man. I love you, Mr. Straight Pants. He won't mind me saying this. So he, he's been on testosterone for almost 20 years. So he's always had good lean body mass. My husband was, he's well muscled in his younger days. He's 68 now, but I can tell that he has lost some of his body mass, and especially in his glute area. So his doctor, where he goes to get his hormones optimized, they started using scans to test their
DEXA scans.
Yeah, DEXA scans. And so the first time he got scanned a couple of years ago, they said, "Oh, you have really good muscle to fat ratio, doing well." But I thought to myself, and he was like, "See, I don't have to strength train." He said that to me, and I'm like, "But honey, I know you from what you were to now, and I know you've lost lean body mass," which was kind of naggy to say that, but I just wanted to kind of.
Sometimes you just got to.
Sometimes it
just
comes
worth
out,
it, right?
It comes out.
Be an old mare.
So then the next time he got it, and they said, "Oh, you've lost body mass. The next time you've lost body mass, you have to strength train." It's just that he was blessed with some good body mass at first. They didn't realize he was in decline already.
Yeah.
So we have stairs in our house, and my husband, he loves to run up and down the stairs. He's so much better on stairs than I am, and he does them all the time because that's our little retreat area. I ain't done nothing.
Nothing.
It's just good activity. It's better than sitting.
Yeah.
Could
It hasn't built his glutes.
Could he start squatting?
Yeah, they said you have to do squats and you have to do weights. And
Would
they
he
were
do
like,
it?
Well, he keeps telling me he's going to.
Like if y'all get a squat rack, would
Oh,
he do
we've
it?
got a
they've
squat
got it.
rack.
They've got a
I got
gym.
everything because his doctor said,
I wanna see
you
it.
need to strength train. So I was like, yes, this is the time. My husband will spend all the money. So we outfitted our garage. It's a beautiful gym.
Nice.
It's got everything in there. He hasn't.
He
been
won't
in
go
there
out.
yet. But dear Lord Jesus,
Is that where you're working?
You
I'll
know
join-
my
I'll
problems,
agree.
and I'm taking them
Yes.
to you,
Yes.
and you know the time and the day.
Baby Jesus.
Lord, build my husband's bum.
Sweet
Yeah.
God of bums.
Oh, sacrilege. Dad is going to call us about this one because Dad always
Yes.
said, Pearl, we were growing up pastors' kids, Pearl and Serene, if we ever sung a song, and this is a real rabbit trail,
fine.
if we ever sung a song, a church song, but we put a little too much silliness into it,
Yes.
he would say, girls, don't be sacrilege.
This will be the second time that Dad will come over and give me a special
Yeah.
counseling session. Do you
Yeah.
want to hear about the first time?
If they want,
Because he
for the
heard-
people
Do you
who
wanna
love
hear about
rabbit
the
trails,
first
He heard
Hell.
something on the show.
Well,
and
no,
came?
he
No.
saw something. So every year we have a book party after Christmas for just the adult children. There's so many of us here on the hilltop, all family, but it's extended, right? We've got aunties, uncles, cousins, children, great-grandchildren going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Well, it's usually all of our events are everybody. So they're massive, right? But my mum's like, I just want all my 6 children and their spouses in one room. We can have an adult party. So there's a little wine,
Yeah.
okay? A little red wine. My parents aren't big on wine, but they like a little red wine occasionally. Well, I didn't have a little wine with my dinner. I just didn't want it. Didn't want it at all.
We all did.
They all did, but I just didn't feel like it. But then I thought, might be nice to have a little. I like to taste wine. I love wine, but I don't really drink it. I taste it. So I put my 1 inch, and it's what I love, about an inch.
Okay, but that night, it looked more than 1 inch. You used a very small wine glass. It was a sherry glass.
Yes.
And it
I
looked.
put my 1 inch.
It looked well more than an inch. So it looked
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 inches.
But it was an inch. Okay. And maybe I had poured a little bit more, maybe for my husband to have a sip off of it. You know, we share back and forth. But anyway, guess what happened?
What happened?
There were some people there that night, and I didn't know they were ex-alcoholics, okay? Because we usually just have it 6 children and the spouses. I was there, and the book party started getting all like rowdy because we purposely put on the rowds. Purposely get all like leave the fruits of the spirit at the door because we want to have fun. It's White Elephant Book Party.
Can I interject?
Yes.
For those who don't love our rabbit trails, the party's over. This
Yeah,
is
you go. Just go and clean your toilet. Do something important.
Please.
Don't even listen. In fact, I don't want you to.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But make sure you
for
comment
those
about
who
how bad
accidentally can't turn off their device and they haven't worked it out yet, okay, I'm just going to keep talking. But anyway, so the fruits of the spirit were left at the door. We're like getting rowdy because we want to have fun. When the game is boring, we're like, well, that was a kind of a lame book party night.
Yeah.
So we put it in. Well, I started like saying to, some of the family members, I don't know, it's getting into
Can
it.
I
So I was
help you?
shaking the
She
jar,
was
the cup
sitting
a little bit.
exactly the way she was sitting now. If you're not listening, I'll describe it. If you're not on YouTube, And she had her wine glass holding it, like she crossed legs and she was holding it up. You know how people emphasize things with their wine glass, like cheer it?
Yeah.
And she kept, whatever she said, she would emphasize with it and was slosh vigorously.
So we had this special couple from Australia there, okay, special couple. And they were just like, usually we don't have other people there. But I was like, take your stupid book back to Aussie where it came from, you know, because I was having fun. You're meant to be able to joke like this on that night. And I was just sloshing around. The wine was tipping up a little bit along the side. I was not drunk. I was just putting some fun into the night. Well, who did I have at my doorstep? The next morning, Dad appears at my doorstep. Hey, Serena, just thought I might have a little word with you.
Discuss your problem.
I'm really kind of a little bit concerned about the wine drinking and just want to know whether it's become a problem.
What's funny? He came to me before he went to Serene. Pearl,
And I
I'm
didn't even know
really
this.
concerned about Serene might have an issue with alcohol. And I said, no,
She was a
Dad,
little bit tipsy
actually,
last
she
night, he
doesn't.
said.
She drinks less than I do. You know, I'll have a glass of wine. I've never even seen Serene have a full glass of wine. And Dad said, that's not what I saw, nor the visitors.
And guess what? My husband, who knows his whole life. I mean, sorry for everyone listening. All his life he's wanted to make me tipsy, but I can never drink enough to be tipsy, right? I'll only have my inch at the max. Usually it's just a centimeter. And that's like not every week. That'd be like once a month or not even. And so he knew this about me. And when Dad said, Sam, because Sam walked down the stairs, Sam's like, yes, I've been a little bit concerned too. He threw me under the bus to just annoy me. To this day, Dad thinks I have a wine problem. And now he's going to think that I have a sacrilege prayer problem on our
That
podcast.
was Danny who brought the sacrilege because you said, Jesus who loves bumps. What did you say?
Jesus who loves bumps.
Well, Jesus does love bums. He
God
made
loves
them.
bums and,
Jesus loves
and
bums.
circumcision.
He
and
loves flat bums too, though.
foreskin.
This one, should we just put a little PG?
Come as you are.
Should we put a little
Whatever
PG?
bum you have, you come as you are.
Should we put a little PG warning at the front of this potty?
No, that's ridiculous.
It's just that we have a lot of 8-year-olds listening, more than men.
How many 8-year-olds
Oh,
listen
so many
to our
people
podcast?
listen in the car and the children on the way to school and
Do
stuff.
you
This is
know
great.
that 8-year-olds, their humor is all in the toilet?
It is.
Oh
That's
my
what
gosh.
they find
It's all
funny.
poo-poo humor.
And
Poo-poo
I never
humor.
grew out of poo-poo humor. Never did. It's my favorite humor.
You said doo-doo earlier in the show. I didn't
Did
want
I?
to say anything. I felt immature, but yeah, you were like, they do this. And I was like,
We are so done, aren't we?
I have to pee so bad.
Goodbye. I hope you love the rabbit trails today.